From this time, cry unto me, my Father, thou art the guide of my youth. Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things that thou couldst. So basically, they've done so bad, and it sounds like here that Judah is going through a drought and asking for help too. Now, God had the right to divorce Israel, but he did not. And let's look at why. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, it says, "And I'll put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." God had made a promise to Adam and Eve in the beginning when they fell that he was going to restore mankind. His plan was to do it through the nation of Israel. If he did not follow his plan, that would make God a liar. In Genesis chapter 7, God spoke to Moses and told him that he was going to make him a great nation. And this is when Moses was saying, well, how am I going to have a nation when I'm 100 years old? I'm going to give you a nation. You're going to have so many kids you can't count. God had to keep his promise to Israel. He had to keep his promise to Judah. He could not divorce them. Not that he didn't have a right to, but his commitment and his promise to the earlier generations that they were going to become a nation. And that through them, the world would be saved. In Deuteronomy chapter 18 through 19, it says, "I will raise from them a prophet among the brethren like thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command. And it shall come to pass that whatsoever will not hearken my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him." And that's talking about the coming of Jesus. God told Israel at the commitment, at the beginning of their promise, the fall, this is a whole nation of Israel, that if you follow, that through you, I'm going to bring the Savior of the world. Now, how could God keep his promise? How could God complete his plan if he divorced Israel? Okay, he couldn't do it if he did that. And God keeps his word. Now, why is that important to us, people? Why is that important to us? Because if God kept his word to Israel, we know that Israel was destroyed. They first, Babylon took the northern part, then later took over Judah. They were all exiled, spread all over the place. Later on, they were restored. And they did come back to the land. But guess what? In 70 AD, same thing happened again. Romans came, wiped out Israel. A lot of people ran and spread. That's why we have Jews all over the world now. Because a lot of them never came back to Israel. Later on in World War II, God kept his promise. They came back. And Israel is here today. God keeps his promises. If he keeps his promise to them, he'll keep his promise to us about salvation. And John 3:16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life."